Okay. Okay, maybe. This is what, take 4? I don't know what's going on with the internet. So this is a retake of yesterday's poly mailer that we all get in the mail. So, this is a manila envelope that someone sent me their clothing in for a bear. So I'm using this too. So you can use these. You can, poly mailer really is nice because it's got that bubble wrap in it, but I'm going to use this too. So I'm also using fabric. I have this black and white check and I have this buffalo check. And I cut them to the size of the bag. Now it doesn't matter if your bag's open long ways or like this. It don't matter. You can even cut it in half because we're making a pouch. So if you have favors to make for something, you can also fold your bag in 4s. Okay? So it doesn't matter the size. This is open this way, so that's how I'm using it. And because the addresses are wrote on this in marker, I can't peel off a label. So I am also lining my bag. So that's what I'm doing with this black and white fabric. And because this is the lining, I want the black and white to show. So I'm putting right sides together, and I'm just going to glue 3 sides. You can use scrapbook paper. Right now, you might have some Christmas wrap if you want to make these Christmassy. You can use napkins. Like I'm using fabric. So you can use anything. Gift wrap. Now I'm just going to trim this down a bit because it is going on the inside of the bag. So I posted a picture yesterday of 2 finished pouches. So then you can see this one's going to be totally different than those because it's lined. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to stick it inside. I might have to trim it down just a bit more. Going to make sure it matches in there. Okay, so it's lined. And I'm going to fold this extra over the top, but I'm going to glue right along the fabric to attach the fabric and the bag together, just right here at the top, all the way around. And it doesn't take much glue because we are working with paper. Even the plastic bubble mailers you can use because that's what we used yesterday. Okay, now I'll just fold this down. Okay, just like this. And then I'm also going to glue under this lip all the way around. We're just on 2 sides. Oops, I need a glue stick. So that encases the whole inside of the bag. And then the cut edge up here also. Okay, so now I have this buffalo check. I have one long piece. And this phrase, this fabric, this is part of a shower curtain that I shortened. So we need to flip this under, and we're going to match up our edges. And I'm leaving just like an inch overhang here. So we're just going to match, and this is very easy to do because you got the lines to go on. So I'm just going to glue this right along the top. Now, if you're making this for somebody and your address is written on the bag, like these are my customers and mine, you can put a piece of paper over that. Use some spray glue and put just a piece of computer paper over that. If your fabric is thin and it's going to show through. Okay? So then we're going to do the same thing on this side. And I am going to grab a piece of paper to stick underneath there. Just covers up yours and their address. Okay, there we go. So now I have this excess. So I'm going to fold this lip from the back over to the front, and I'm going to glue it down. And working this paper up under that lip of fabric. Okay, so I'm going to glue this lip over. So what we're doing is encasing our poly mailer completely inside of fabric, napkins, whatever. Now I have a bit too much, so I'm going to cut off a portion of this. And I'm going to fold it under. I'm just going to fold this edge right under to match there and glue it. Now, because this fabric frays really bad, I'm just going to tuck in just the top edge, just so any fray, it'll stop it. And I'm gluing right along the edge. And I'm not using very much glue because it doesn't take much for this. So our bag is completely covered. Now we got to fix the bottom. So I'm taking the corners just like you're wrapping a present, and I'm going to fold this in on both sides. See that? Just fold it in. I have glue on my fingers, so it's not working very well. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to tuck this down inside. See that? We're tucking it down inside. And then we're going to take this other edge and tuck it inside. See? And glue it. And I'm making sure this bottom is really sealed. So there's our bottom, okay? So the bag is totally covered inside and out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of our packing styrofoam. Now, you can skip this and just cut down a piece of glue strings. Cut down floral foam. You can use packing peanuts. Even on this, you can use your grocery bags. Just stuff the bottom because you want your bag to be open. Okay, like this. Oops, I need to glue that. So you can use your grocery bags here too. Another way to get rid of those. Okay. Tony brought me a whole bunch of this home, so I'm using it. So the best way I found to cut this stuff so you don't have these little beads of styrofoam everywhere, you can spray this with hairspray or a static guard. That also helps because what makes those beads go everywhere and stick to everything is static. So I just score the top just a little bit, then I stick my knife down in there and twist it. This is a pretty thick piece, so I have to stick it down in there a couple of times and just twist. And it breaks it apart without all of those beads going everywhere. Now, why that works like this, I don't know. I'm just taking my knife and just pulling. Now, you will get some beads, but not as many as you would. Now, if you cut it like this, those beads go everywhere. Yeah, so I got a mess right here because I did that. But all these little beads that come off, if you're making something you want snow for, my hair is a hot mess today, and I did it. You can use these for snow. So I'm just going to stick these pieces down in here, and that's going to help hold the bag open. Now you can glue them in. I'm just going to shoot some glue down in there just to hold it together, especially since I have more than one piece. Now the hot glue will start to melt this foam. It's okay because it's not seen. Let me glue this one to that. Okay. And it stinks when it starts to melt. Okay, so now our bag is being held open. So we're using lots of throwaways here. Styrofoam, that packing styrofoam, you throw it away. The poly mailers, you throw those away. So there you go. We have a pouch. Now, my seam where we put the fabric on the bag is on this side. So it's more like on one side than the other. So I'm going to use that as my back, and this is going to be my front. So I'm going to make a hole on both sides, and what I'm using is this really thick jute. I picked this up at a farm store. If you can't find it, This is the Dollar Tree. Let me hold these up so you can see the difference. See, this is much thicker than this. You can take several pieces of this and braid it together, or take several pieces and tie knots all along the length of it. We're making a hanger. So I'm just going to take, and you want this longer than you think you need. Forgot to turn the volume on my phone off. So, because we're going to make like little tassels on both sides with it. And I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to fold the fabric a little bit and make a slit. Just enough for this to go through. You want it to go completely through all the layers. And it doesn't have to be very big. I'm taking my jute from the inside and pushing it out. And if you have a hard time with that, use a skewer to push it through. Because your hole should be small. It helps if I have it lined up right. And I'm using the flat end. It grips the rope a little better. I didn't get all the ends of the rope, so I have to push this piece through too. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this end up onto the back side, and I'm just going to tie a knot. And I'm going to untwist this end until I get it totally untwisted, and then I'm just going to pull each strand of the jute out. Okay, and I'm doing the same thing to the other side. Get my hole lined up first. So I want this to have a pretty large hanger because we're going to put flowers or vines in here. So got glue strings. So you want this to be a little taller than what your vine is. So what do you think so far? Something different. We're taking garbage and we're making something out of it. I've been saving these poly mailers for a while. So yesterday I was cleaning my sewing room The last bear was picked up the night before, and getting it started for a new year. So I started fumbling with these poly mailers. Look at that. Now you can put anything in here. I'm putting berries. And I took some of the jute that we make corkscrews out of, and I put it on a piece of a dowel or a piece of a skewer, glued it on there, and just, well, that was a bell that was on there, I didn't glue on yet, and just made some of these little picks that we also can put in here. So I'm going to take some of these longer. Now, you want some of your flowers to drape over the front. You want them to come out the sides. So what you could do is take a glue stick, pencil, something, and then wrap your berries right around. It just gives another visual point there. So I'm going to glue these in. So I'm squirting glue right along the pouch, and I'm going to stick these tall ones right in the back. You can stick them right into your foam. You can, if your foam is showing, you can put Spanish moss over that. So see how you're just going to curl these. You can twist them with your fingers. You just want some visual interest. You want to spread these out. And I also have, this is a pick that I bought at Hobby Lobby. It was really long and I ripped it apart. So we're going to stick these in also. And I'm sticking them right into the foam. But you want to spread these branches out. So you want tall in the back, and as you come to the front, you want short. So then I have these corkscrews that we made, and it's just on a skewer, and I'm just going to shove those in there, here and there, just so it looks a little different. So now if your stem is too short, you can add a skewer to the bottom of this and then use that too. So on the front here, there is, let me stick this one in there too. There we go, one on each side. So I have some of these corkscrews that we've made, and I'm just going to put like maybe 3 of them together, and I'm going to tie them together with some, and we'll make a bow. And I'm using probably about 3 yards of this jute, and I'm going to take the 2 ends and put them together and then fold that in half again. So we have 4 pieces there. And I'm just going to make a simple little bow. And then I'm going to cut these pieces that are joined. Okay, I just got a little tiny bow. I'm going to take some glue and I'm going to stick it right in the center. And I'm going to get rid of glue strings first. I'm just going to take these corkscrews and stick them in there. Now they stick to each other, and I'm going to put them in different directions. And I'm sticking them right into that glue. So different directions. And push them down in there. And then I'm going to glue my bow right into the center of that. Now I have this ivy. I think I'm going to put a piece of this in that too. I'm going to stick it right under the bow. Yeah. Now you can decorate the front of this according to what you're making it for. I don't want to see this skewer. Let me push it down in there some more. There we go. So there you go. We took garbage and we made something cute out of it. So you can hang this on your door. Now if you're going to hang it on an outside door, I would spray this whole thing, flowers, everything, with a clear coat, because that will preserve it. It'll like weatherize it. You can also use a spray for boots, waterproofing. So there you go. So we got through it without the internet messing up today. Okay. Thanks everybody. God bless.